Today we're actually not going to be lasering food. Today we're going to be covering a project that I've been wanting to do. We don't really have a speaker in the shop. I had this on the back of my mind. I thought it would be really cool to do. We do have this really tiny Bluetooth speaker that you can barely hear. So I thought it'd be cool to make a foam speaker. What I have before us today are the parts that we're going to be using to build this foam speaker. I'm really excited. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. So we have our battery pack, we have an amplifier, we have a transducer, some wires, we have our eye bolts, or in this case, screw eyes, and then some hooks so that we can hang it from the drop ceiling. One of the tools that I'm going to be using is our trusty box cutter. It is sharp and pointy and should probably be kept away from Drew, because Drew can hurt himself at any point in time. Drew's a walking hazard. I'm surprised that I have not been dropped by my insurance. Without further ado, let's get started. Off to the soldering station to get the power set up and soldered.
The amplifier and the talent cell both use barrel jacks for power. What I'm able to do is grab some pieces that I have here on the bench and create a barrel to barrel. You can find this online, but since I have the items, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. If you've never soldered before, I'm stripping the ends, twisting them, I'm tinning them to get them ready to be soldered together. It makes it a lot easier. And then I'm adding shrink tubing to the leads before I solder them together. And once done, I sleeve them and hit it with some heat. And that way the shrink tubing shrinks and covers it up and stops any shorts from happening.
So now that we got our cables ready and prepped, this is a male-to-male barrel jack for power. We're gonna go from the power cell over to the amplifier. And then I got the speaker wire ready. Just a regular standard speaker wire, positive, negative, red, black. I tin the ends to make it easier to insert it into the terminals. The next step is to wire everything up and make sure it has power before we assemble. First, I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the power amplifier. Let's do a quick test. I'll go ahead and turn on the power cell. So this amplifier can handle between 5 volts to 24 volts. I'm supplying 12 volts. This is known as a talent cell, not sponsored, and can output 12 volts on the barrel jack or 5 volts on the USB. In this case, we're going to be using 12 volts, which gives this amplifier ample power. You can see it's already on. Go ahead, wire up the transducer. I have my iFixit, also not sponsored, but it always has the right bit that I need. I'm gonna go with a Philips flathead. We're gonna make this into a mono speaker, meaning we're only using one channel. We're gonna use the right channel for right now. We could make it a stereo by using the left channel, but I only have one transducer and one foam piece to power it off. Negative goes to the black wire. Go ahead and screw in the terminal. Positive, red wire. Do that in. Same thing on this side. These, you just have to push down the terminal so it accepts the wire. There we go. Push down the terminal so it accepts the wire. Go. So that's plugged in. The solder joint is nice and tight. Everything held into place. Now we actually get to test this out. Tidy workspace is a happy workspace. Let's put away our tools. Everything's wired up. Everything looks good. First thing we want to do is turn on the amplifier. I can connect my phone's Bluetooth to it. Bluetooth is on. Let's find some copyright-free music. Let's go with the first one. Just do a quick test. All right. I don't know if you guys can hear that. There we go. So it looks like it has to be something that's kind of hollow. Let's actually put this on the foam. Let's cut this down. You're gonna need your box knife. I'm just gonna eyeball how much I wanna cut from the foam. I'm gonna assume this is about 2 to 2.5 feet, maybe 2 1/4. I'm also gonna eyeball if I'm cutting it straight or not. If you really want to make this absolutely perfect, you could use a ruler. I am not too concerned whether if it's perfect or not. I'm just going to be happy to have music in the shop. If you do end up getting the 2-inch foam, what you could do is you can follow your cut line all the way around the side, flip it over, add the cut line over here, and then just connect the lines. A new knife will also cut very nice and clean. And that is not a straight line. Let's see if I can pop this. Not as clean as I would like it to be, but it's fine. This is a proof of concept. I can have this side be the bottom and this side be the top. Nobody needs to see the mess. Or if I really wanted to, I could always try to clean it up. But have you ever had to clean up foam? It's staticky and it gets all over everything. So now that it's cut down to size, we can add the hardware. In this case, we're going to be using these eye screws. Holy shit. It's like anti-tamper, anti-theft. We could try to hide the mess that we made when cutting it. Just push it in, screw them into place. The reason for the eye screws is to isolate this foam as much as possible from everything else to get the maximum amount of sound out of it. If we can make this vibrate really well without dampening the vibration, this should make a really sick speaker. So now we have our eye holes. Next, we got to get our hooks ready. So we're going to put this and install this into the drop ceiling above us. Oh, it's okay, that's why there's extras. There's like 6 of them or 8 of them per pack. It's just in case I drop one. We're actually gonna need 3 for this. Is this rust? Oh no, what a really bad paint job. We're gonna need 3, and the reason is 1 for each eye hole, and then 1 for the battery to hang off. These are fairly simple. You find the track, and then you pinch it onto the track, which closes the hook. I just realized I have no fishing string. I was supposed to get fishing line. All right, time to improv. Let's go violate Cindy's work area because I'm sure I'm gonna be able to find something that I could use, maybe ribbon or actually twine works. I've seen it with fishing line. I have not seen it with twine. Where's the beginning and where's the end? I'm about to take a pair of scissors and just cut anywhere. Found it. So the question is, how low do I want this to hang from the ceiling? I mean, I kind of don't want it to be too low, and then the other question is, do I just make it a single strand or do I loop and hang it from a loop on each? This is literally a legit question. And then I realized I have no scissors. So I guess we're gonna go commando style and just bite it off. Cut it there. I mean, this seems like a good length. Let's match this one. So we got 2 matching lengths. Watch, when I go to hang it, it's not gonna be level. Knowing my luck, I obviously did not do the twine correctly. I'm gonna pass it through the eye hole. Yeah, and then tie it off with a double knot. Seems pretty good there. Let's repeat that again. Tastes like burlap. Double knot it again. Okay, triple knot it, because apparently double knot wasn't good enough. There we go, up to the ceiling. There's a light there. So I'm gonna have to do it like right in front of the light. This is one of those fancy ladders. I feel like I should test this out on the ground first before I put it up, because I'm afraid that if I put it up and it doesn't work, then I'm gonna be working above my head. What I'm gonna do is try to center this right in the middle of the back. So let's put it like this, since the wires are gonna go off. Put it dead, as I say dead center, as center. I got an idea. Very unconventional. We're gonna use the mic bag to hold this together. So let's turn it on, turn up the speaker, put it in here. This way we can hang it. You know what? It wouldn't be a video if I didn't just hang it up. I'm just gonna hang it up. There we go. Got that. Whatever you do, don't eat that. Oh man, note to self, don't do it above me. This thing doesn't wanna cooperate. I don't even know how I did it, but I did it. Okay, so I may have messed up my tile, which is fine. This one I got right. I just got to do one more. One more. Try not to lose my balance. All right, it's time to hang it up. There we go. It does look like it's a little lopsided, but what we could do is we could cheat. We can add some extra turns into it and hook. Nope. Missed the hook. There we go. That's pretty leveled right there. Make sure this is nice and sticky on the back. And let's test out the speaker. Now that I'm safely back on the ground and we have this hung up, let's give it a shot. Let's see how fidelity it is. I think that's how they say it. Fidelity. Fidelity. It's time to test it out. I'm already connected. At least from this angle, it doesn't sound good, but I guess it depends on where you're pointing it. It's more of a directional speaker. I would say this is more of a tweeter. Like, this is high end. There's no bass. It's just all treble. It's really cool. Now it makes me wonder, how can I do the bass if I got the treble and the high? But that's for another time. I do have another idea for this. You come back to this maybe later on this year around spooky season. With Halloween fast approaching, I figured we'd revisit a project that we worked on. People do use this as tombstones or grave markers, and let's give it a shot and see if it actually works. I have a blank canvas. We kind of have an idea of how tombstones look, and I'm gonna freehand this one. I did want to try to use the laser, but it turns out that this foam in particular is carcinogenic and it's not good to inhale. So no amount of exhaust is gonna help us. So I'm just gonna kind of freehand. I'm gonna do it on this side, kind of freehand it a little bit. I could go traditional, where it's just rounded top, or I could try to make it a little fancy and do like an embellishment on the top. Let's do an embellishment. So it's okay if it's not perfect when you do freehand. This is gonna be weathered. It's gonna look like it's been outside for centuries. Because I'm making this a speaker, I may not even carve any information into here, just subtle details to make this look like an actual tombstone. Let me go and add the embellishment, classic cross. In no way am I an artist. This is just a sketch. The final product may look worse. It's okay. Next thing we're gonna want is our knife. We're gonna wanna start cutting in. So try to follow the line. I'm gonna cut outwards so I can give myself a chance to figure out how I'm gonna do the embellishment, but at least I could take off the big chunk first before I go into the detailing. We could try to clean it up a bit because I did do slicing in. With every jagged slice, I'm creating new cuts. So you can see some of the jagged edge here. I could come back and I could try to clean that up. Still don't feel like that's centered. Extra tool to add to the list of tools. Dead center would be at the 7. You can always add that part back in so we can make sure that we measure center. We now know our cross is completely off. Oh, almost lost my blade. Look, I freehand this. So if it doesn't look absolutely amazing, it's okay. I am in no means an expert. For some reason, this looks like a target from the shooting range instead of a tombstone, but we're getting there. All right. I could see how imperfect it is from the backside. It's a little chunky on one side. Can proceed to fix it a little bit, but I'm afraid that in fixing it, I may make it worse. Ultimately, as I said, this has been sitting out for centuries in the hot Florida summer, in the swamp somewhere, who knows. The next step is to kind of give it some character, shape it a little bit more, give it a couple of nicks and dings. Over time, parts and pieces crumbled off. We're gonna have some fun with that. That doesn't have to be perfect either. We do want to kind of rough this up before we paint, so that way it has something to kind of hold on to. I'm gonna go and grab my primer and I'll prime it first. Then I'll hit it with the stone to give it the texture, and then I'll hit it with the satin to kind of dull down this light, bright look. We do want to put some details, very light, subtle details, and there is a trick that I know that we could use. I did some testing off camera. We can mark and then hit it with a little bit of a heat gun, and it kind of shows those markings a little bit more detailed. So you can see how that came out when I did the detailing. Hit it with the heat gun and you really see these lines as opposed to just a regular line. I really hope that this comes out looking like a skull and crossbones. It's a little off center. It's not where I really wanted it to go, but it gives me an idea of what I need to cut. I'm not sure if this is gonna look great. I think I'm gonna abandon the idea. All right, so we're scrapping the idea of me drawing a skull and crossbones with the knife and with the Sharpie because I can't get it dead center, and I understand that I said it doesn't matter, it doesn't need to be perfect. Apparently I can't draw a bone. I'm still gonna draw a little bit more details, so that way we can hit it with the heat gun, gives it more texture, more character. So now that we hit it with the heat gun and we kind of got the beaten up look, it's time to kind of sand it down a little bit to give something for the primer to hold on to. So I had to let it sit and dry. New day, new coat of paint. I'm not feeling what I see going on. I did stop over at Dollar Tree, picked up some decoration so that we could kind of give a little bit more depth to this. I have my glue gun as well. Let's customize it a little bit more. I do have some foam left over so we can build out a bigger base. This is all an experiment. I've never done this before. This is just for fun. Let's figure out how we can make this look good and work. Picked up some bones, and then I picked up some bones, and I picked up some bones, and some more bones. Open up the packages, see what we're working with, write it out. I am going to hot glue them and then repaint this. I do want to kind of cover up some of the splash work. I don't think it came out as great as I thought it was gonna in my mind. Correct me in the comments. I think this is like a femur or something, or it's the calf leg bone. The leg bone's connected to the hip bone, right? Like joint. Look, it's been a while. Oh, you're so cute. Spooky, scary skeletons. You know, looking at this, I probably could have just lasered this guy. Definitely gonna have to remove these little linkages. Oh yeah, it's all coming together now. I hate the fact that he has a happy face because it's supposed to be spooky if we put a leg bone. Give it a little bit of extra style. Got that all laid out. I do have extra foam, so we could do something with that. Another thing that can be done if you don't have hot glue to hold like these pieces together, you use like a pin to go all the way through. That actually looks pretty good. ASMR. I should probably be looking where I'm cutting. Safety first. Always cut away from yourself. Onto the super glue. So because we're sort of mimicking a real tombstone or grave marker that's been around for centuries, it's okay if things don't look right, if things are a little misaligned. Like this bottom piece, I was kind of worried about the gaps on the side and I wanted to fill it in with extra foam, but in reality, we could just leave a little bit of a gap like this and show that it got smashed, somebody tried to repair it, and centuries later, it's really just starting to show its age. I could probably remove some of the bones or install the bones kind of messed up. We're gonna start gluing everything down, starting with the small bones to make this quick. I am adding a little bit of gap in between the bones. It kind of gives it more of an uneasy feeling. This is worse than spider webs. Just keep gluing, just keep gluing. What do? We glue. Look, don't compare me to 5-minute crafts. Nowhere near that. What we could do is take another bones and give this a little bit more depth so he sticks out a little bit more. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. Remember to try to grab as much of the stringing off because when this does get spray painted again, you don't want it to look glossy. So far, it's looking a lot better than my little attack on it. Time to put these pieces in, put a liberal amount of hot glue, and we're off to paint again. Now it stands on its own too.
For the sake of time, I did some other stuff off camera. Don't worry, it's done.
Now that we have it all painted up and decorated, it's time to add the speaker to it. So on the back side, I didn't paint it for the reason that I wanted to make sure it would have a good sticking surface. I also didn't want to dampen the sound. I'm not sure how it's going to work out with the paint on the front side and all the stuff on it. I don't know if it's going to project the sound like the one that we hung up from the ceiling. I have my Bluetooth amplifier. I have my speaker, which is a transducer. So whatever this attaches to will turn this into a speaker. The more hollow it is, the better it is at producing sound. And then I have it running over to a little 12-volt talent cell to give me the 12 volts to the amplifiers. So we have 3 sticky feet. I'm gonna go ahead and peel off those 3 sticky feet. And then I gotta peel off the center circle, which is easier said than done. Trying not to remove the glue with it, but there we go. And I'm gonna try to put it up on the top as center as possible. Lightly put pressure. We have it nice and centered. The rest of it can be hidden in a little pouch or inside a Ziploc bag to keep it waterproof. I do not recommend to keep this outside all the time. I would say if you want to put the speaker up, you can put the speaker up at the beginning, maybe use it only for Halloween on the day of, or if you do haunts, then you could try to do this. Now, before I put some music into this, let us know what your favorite Halloween prop build is. If you have one, and if you don't, what is it that you would like to see made? Without further ado, let's go ahead and give this a test. Turn it on. It's actually pretty good. I think I'm onto something.
We are the most ghoulish.
I don't know what it's saying. Something about we are the most ghoulish. Here's another soundtrack. Let's do ambient sounds because these sound effects from the 80s and 90s are, though they bring back nostalgia, they're ear graping. I am genuinely excited and happy that this actually worked. I didn't know if it would with all the paint on it and it being cut down the way that it is and having all the extra add-ons and stuff. Like now I legitly want to make a more professional looking tombstone instead of this kind of hacked together fun one. This is my first time, so please be gentle. I'm I'm happy with this. It's moving though. I mean, I'm sure if I weigh it down or hold it down, it doesn't seem to be affecting the sound. What could be done is if you have an elaborate sound system where you have multiple channels, you can have certain sound effects coming from certain tombs. You can hear, let me out, this tombstone, but the one next to it has more of this Sleepy Hollow whooshing and the sound of wind or the crow. And that's how I made a speaker out of a tombstone. If you thought this project was cool, maybe you want to check out that video right there. And then YouTube thinks that you're going to like this one over here. Who knows? It might be a Halloween themed one. It might be just me lasering any food. Hopefully it is a Halloween related laser food. You should check that one out right there. Right there.